I'm Tom.
And we are Velocities of Music, VIMTV. We're going to take the VIMTV time capsule back to the beginning of 2010, kind of finishing up our 2010 albums here. This one came out back in March?
Somewhere around there.
Early 2010. This is Fortet's Hidden. No, I'm sorry, it's not Hidden. It's There Is Love in You. Sorry, I'm getting all of the album titles we're reviewing today mixed up. This is an electronica album. The guy behind this is just one guy who's good friends with Caribou. Tom says that he read somewhere. His name's Kieran Hebden. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. The guy, crazy curly hair, he makes really good electronica music, in my opinion. And that's what this is. This is There's Love in You is 9 tracks of just electronica, kind of dance. It gets dancey at times, but it's not the big beat, big synth dance music that we've all grown accustomed to over the last. Because it's been in vogue the past couple of years. But to describe this, there's a lot of songwriting going on here that you don't hear in a lot of electronica, or especially dance music, because dance music, I think, gets drawn out and repetitive, where electronica focuses more on, yes, keeping those electronica elements present, but then using some songwriting to make it more interesting. But also there's no vocals in any of this, which I find to be refreshing at times. But Tom, what'd you think?
I liked it. Overall, I liked this album. I honestly don't have too much to say. It's just the kind of thing where I think for electronica music, this is very well done. It's very well composed. But the key is, and you can tell when listening to this album, that the key is emotional appeal, emotional connection, and that X factor that we talk about so much on here. And to be honest, I didn't quite feel it.
Right.
It didn't get to me that way. I can totally understand how it would for some people. It didn't for me. Still, I realized early on listening to this, because I listened to this quite a few times, that I wasn't going to have that connection with this album. So I strived to focus objectively on the things that he was doing. And the thing is, at first, it seems that a lot of these compositions are very simple, but I don't think they are. And to me, there's a beauty in that, in making more sound like less, because it shows an ability to blend and craft your sound. And I mean, like, I look at things very much from a production aspect. I'm a songwriter and producer, and so I almost, when I'm listening to stuff like this, I almost look at it like you're in a digital audio workstation kind of program, when you've got the several tracks, you know, mapped out, and that's what I look for. And so I try to see it visually, and what I see here is a lot of little things going on.
Yes.
And I think that shows just a lot of forethought. And what you mentioned about songwriting, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's hard to make it seem like there is songwriting in electronic music sometimes. Sometimes it just seems so random and eclectic, like the Flying Lotus side of things, and then sometimes it seems kind of drony and simple, which I think is, if you're listening just surface level, that's what this will come off as. But when you get into the depth of it, there's a lot of little things going on, a lot of things that are being planned out and built up and even reverbed out to create that atmosphere. And I just think that shows a lot of tact. That, well, I didn't necessarily connect with it, so I'm probably not going to give this a score in the 80s or anything. It's still something that I was able to appreciate and see, wow, there's a lot of talent here.
Yeah, and you know, we've already talked about how the difference between dance music and electronica, and that songwriting element, I think, is key in understanding that. So here, what Kieran Hebden is doing, he's taking these songs and he'll start it off very quietly with just maybe one of those tracks that you were talking about, and then he'll add stuff in and add stuff in, and all of a sudden, you know, a minute or two into the song, it still sounds the same as it did when the song began, but it's a whole nother beast. And then he breaks it down. And that's something that we really loved about memory tapes.
Yes.
And what I was describing it to Tom is that, you know, these big crescendos and decrescendos in the song, where, you know, they're building the song up and then they break it down. You know, it's kind of like, to me, I think that's really cool, and some of the best things that you can do in all music, but especially in electronica music like this. But I was telling Tom, it's not as drastic as what memory tapes does, and so it's not as moving. It's kind of like the Appalachian Mountains versus the Rocky Mountains. That's the way we were kind of visualizing it.
It's very true, but I love how sneaky he is about it.
He's very sneaky and
He just
tactful.
sneaks these build, like, other layers in there, rather than just throwing them right at your face, and it's really cool.
This did get me. And here's why. And it wasn't all of the tracks. I think that, to me, the first 5 tracks, or really first 4 tracks, were, because the track 4 is real short, but the first, 4 main tracks really hit it on the head. And I think the back ones are good. The back 5, I just don't feel like they're quite up to par with the front. And I'm not saying there's a big displacement going on. I just felt that the front was stronger. I still like this because I felt like Kieran Hebden was able to do what post-rock music strives to do, and that's put emotion behind it. Mm-hmm. And giving that extra layer of connection with the listener is so, so important. And I feel like track 1, Angel Echoes, track 2, Love Cry, Circling, and then Sing, all those 4 big songs right in a row all have this just really emotional appeal to them, and it got me. I mean, it caught my attention. I didn't feel that quite as strongly on the back end, but still, I feel like that's something I hadn't experienced yet in this kind of low-key, folky electronica music. So that's something that I really loved. Lots of X Factor. And I just want to say, track 5, Sing, is going to go down as one of my favorite tracks of 2010. I think that track is just mind-blowingly awesome. And I'm all about it! I'm all about it! I feel like this is strong. I don't want to go too high on this one. I think this is a good album and I recommend it, but I think there's better stuff out there too. I'm giving this an 80.
I'm going to go 71.
Okay. I feel like that's a good depiction of this album. What do you guys think? Do you think that, did you love Four Tets? There Is Love in You. I got it right that time. Did you feel like it wasn't quite enough for you? Did it get you emotionally? Let me know what you think. Let us know. We liked talking to you guys about your thoughts and feelings on the music, because if that's what really matters, it's not what we say matters. So you tell us what matters at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are BIMTV, moving music critique forward.